looks really good. Look at that.
It's
It's
very
really nice and perfect.
Very pleased that he put the poster up.
Fits.
Hello,
everyone.
I'm Rupert.
I'm Josh.
Yeah.
Rupert and Josh do stuff.
We're going to talk about the Spider-Man being in the MCU.
And just sort of general future MCU ramblings.
Yeah, there'll be a little
thoughts.
theorising, some thoughts, some
Nothing in concrete.
Retrospective stuff on
just
previous franchises.
looking over it really, and Spider-Man's really been the catalyst for it.
Basically, we were having a couple of drinks on the beach because if you've been in the UK we're filming this on the 20th of June.
Yeah, the last 4 days.
Probably the hottest day of the year.
Yeah.
So we live in Brighton. We went straight down to the beach with a couple of beers, and we haven't really stopped.
No, we've come back and recorded.
So yeah, I will let you take the lead in this one because you've got more of an idea on what you want to talk about.
Well, so we were looking recently at the inclusion of Spider-Man in the MCU, and of course the recent announcement from Sony Pictures that there was going to be a Venom movie put into production, which only recently was confirmed to potentially be part of the MCU.
Do we know who actually confirmed that?
I don't. I couldn't give you a source on that.
If I find out,
I'll
make sure it sort of appears.
We'll have something.
There.
A description or something on that.
It's like probably Entertainment Weekly or Collider or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Variety or the Hollywood Reporter.
Oh, they
Someone.
do those.
Yeah. So we've heard recently that Tom Hardy's Venom movie might be included within the MCU, which means Tom Holland might be showing up as Spider-Man in that, which gave us speculation. We were talking about the sort of Eddie Brock Spider-Man thing, about how that might be a bit odd, given that Spider-Man is a high schooler in this franchise and Eddie Brock is a 40-odd-year-old Tom Hardy.
I mean, what I was saying is that actually the way this franchise is going, it's actually a bit odd for Peter to work for the Daily Bugle at all. And it's really difficult to work it out for me, is essentially because he's almost sponsored by Tony Stark and he goes to work at the Bugle because he needs money. He's now in a situation where Tony Stark's actively giving him money. Like he's funding. It seems like the scholarship that he got is being funded. It's not. He didn't just use it as an excuse to get in touch with Peter Parker. He actually gave him the scholarship.
Yeah. And the suit.
Yeah. And it then becomes a bit odd. I mean, I'd love him to work for the Bugle. He'd be...
It would be great, and especially considering J.K. Simmons recently spoke about wanting to potentially come back as James. I mean, if you can have anyone.
I don't see anybody else playing J.K.
There was Ice Cube rumoured a while ago.
Yeah, that'd be okay.
He's angry enough.
Yeah.
Definitely, I'd take it. But, you got J.K. Simmons, who looks exactly like something out of the comic.
Yeah. So I kind of have this feeling that the Bugle would be difficult to fit in.
Yeah, definitely. But, obviously, us being fans and all, and potentially both having read Spider-Man since we were little. For me, well, speaking myself,
I was a fan of the cartoon.
I was reading the I was reading the £2 comics when I was a kid, and the cartoon was excellent. So,
yeah.
But I'd like to see him go and work for the Bugle. But I see what you mean. I think the nice progression would be for him to have like an internship at Stark Industries.
Yeah.
And see a bit more of that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Stark would go, you need to go work for yourself, find your own way in the world. I can't keep helping you out. It's just going to be a little difficult to shoehorn in. Although the way the MCU films have been going for the last, 5 or so, they've actually been going from strength to strength.
They're becoming more like reading a comic.
Yeah.
They're becoming more connected and more. You get more guest appearances that feel less like a crammed-in cameo and more like that character just showing up in the book.
To be honest, I trust Kevin Feige to push the franchise in the direction he needs it to go.
Well, it's been doing really well so far.
Yeah.
We've had very few missteps in the MCU. I would say, personally speaking, that the only missteps I can really think of are certain elements of Age of Ultron. It's not a bad film, but there are certain elements where it's a bit ploddy and feels like there are too many cooks. And Thor: The Dark World, which was just boring.
Yeah.
And a completely, I struggle to remember bits of The Dark World, aside from incorrectly telling you how to get to Greenwich on the tube.
Oh yeah, it was in London, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
I think even Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. could have skipped over it.
I don't really consider Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. part of the MCU.
No.
Sorry,
the MCU is part of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Okay, that's rude. We love the anime fans on here. not the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to get some hate.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Anyway, so we have the next thing you wanted to talk about was plans for the trilogy.
What do I want?
Yeah, what do you want for the trilogy?
Well, because it's starting with Peter in high school, which is where he was in the comics, which is a nice start point. We're getting all the hallmarks of high school Peter. We're getting Flash Thompson. He's from the trailer. He's just some nerd.
Yeah,
and they're definitely playing into the Ultimate Spider-Man thing that he's got like a best mate.
Yeah,
who knows who he is,
which is good.
It's also nice that we're not doing Gwen or Mary Jane. I think it's Liz Allen in this one. I could be wrong, but I think it's Liz Allen.
I've heard rumours that it might be Vulture's daughter.
That's Zendaya, and I hope I'm saying that right. But the love interest is Liz Allen or Betty Brant. I think it's Liz Allen, so I'm going to say Liz Allen.
Okay.
Trilogy plans. I mean, they've said it's going to sort of take it. It's going to be Harry Potter-esque, and I hate using that term for school movies, but like he's going to move on through the years of high school.
I assume it's going to be more than 1 year at a time. Because
I don't know, because I heard from a Marvel press release, that it was going to be year.
That's going to make continuity weird, because most Marvel films are released in date order and in real time. So, I mean, they'll fudge it in some way.
They'll work a way to do do the timing, but that's really not for us to talk about. This is
exactly
what we want to see. I would like to see sort of Endgame, maybe the Sinister Six.
Yeah.
If you say a Vulture would be a nice... I mean, I'm pretty sure Vulture's an original lineup member of the Sinister Six. I know Otto Octavius masterminds it, which maybe means you introduce, much like Raimi's Spider-Man 2, which is the best Spider-Man film, that you introduce Doc Ock in the second movie.
Yeah.
Or have him as a teacher at Peter's school.
Yeah, that could work really nicely.
I mean, that's, once again, going more towards the Ultimate Iron Comics. And I would end it with having the Sinister Six. I mean, already in this first one, in Homecoming, we're getting Vulture, I think the Tinkerer, and Shocker. And it's nice to see Shocker. He's just a human oven mitt.
Yeah.
It's nice to see him in a film.
So, next thing you want to talk about was Links to the Past?
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, this is really playing into more 60s Spider-Man. I really like that. I think that that's the way to go. It's a troubling thing for films. This is the second attempt at a reboot post Sam Raimi in less than 10 years. So you've got to maybe go back to what made the character great in the first place. Raimi's films didn't even really have him in high school. They touch on it, but it's like the first act of Spider-Man 1. By the middle point of Spider-Man 1, he's a bugle reporter at uni. It really just glances over it. We've not had and if you think about Andrew Garfield, once again, Andrew Garfield's the first Amazing Spider-Man is high school, but by the second one, he's graduated high school. Like, I think that to take the whole trilogy and do it in high school would be really cool.
The thing I'm interested in doing is sort of uncovered ground, is the more recent stuff. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't start reading comics until around the age of, I guess, Avengers vs. X-Men, a little bit before that. It really was the MCU happened and it spurred me into reading comics rather than I read comics and became interested in the MCU because of that. But things like Spider-Man Big Time, Superior Spider-Man.
I'd love to see some Superior Spider-Man.
And the thing is, Marvel are brave enough to try it. They've done Guardians of the Galaxy, they've done Thor. I mean, Thor was a pretty big sort of
gambit
risk to begin with.
Even then, we've got upcoming things like Captain Marvel, which aren't established A-list characters for Marvel.
They've now got to the point where just the title Marvel will just it will bring them in the money they need. And I think they're probably, I reckon, a good 10 years off a flop. I think they'll get through a fair amount, at least past Avengers 4. So
we're looking at Spider-Man 2.
At least. But then if Homecoming's really good, which I'm assuming it will be.
Yeah, we're only, I think, this is the 20th of June. Yeah. We're about 3 weeks away, maybe 2 weeks away from Homecoming hitting theatres. July 7th over here. So we're not far off. So it won't be long from this till we can talk about it.
Yeah, we'll be able to actually get a review out.
The day we see
Maybe we'll finally be sort of not a month behind.
Topical.
I mean, our last review was 30 years behind, 40 years behind. So we'll try and get it sort of maybe on the night. But
hopefully.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about maybe the cartoons and comic links I want to see.
Okay.
Not just in Homecoming, but in the series in general. I think the 90s Spider-Man cartoon, that I think it's from 1996, around about the same time, like Hulk and X-Men were airing on Fox Kids, the channel I used to watch it on. So, but I'd like to see a lot of links to that, especially the Venom stuff. That show did Venom pretty well. And Sinister Six. I think take a lot from that. Don't try and copy what Raimi did or what Mark Webb did with his Amazing Spider-Man franchise.
Yeah.
Go and look back at the cartoon and the comics. Because as you said, the people going to watch these films are all roughly sort of our age and grew up watching these things. So if you nod enough in without making it just all a kind of nostalgia trip, you can really make something of it. Something like Bryan Singer's X-Men movies, which, X-Men Apocalypse wasn't well received. We liked it, and it contained loads of references to the cartoon.
Oh, God, just the line in the
All of
trailer.
Apocalypse.
Yeah, everything Apocalypse said was quoted almost directly from the cartoon.
So we immediately ignored the reviews and were like, well, we love the 90s cartoon, let's go see it.
Yeah.
And it, it wasn't great, and I'm not saying that it's the cartoon references that made it slightly better, but definitely integrate some of those, because it works.
Yeah.
It's a proven formula. And also the comics. I mean, you said you didn't really read a lot of Spider-Man. Well, I don't know if you've read a lot of Spider-Man. I think Superior, maybe.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot you can take from the comics. We've already had some big arcs adapted. We've had the death of Gwen Stacy done in Amazing Spider-Man 2. Don't want to see that again. I'd really kind of like to see no Gwen or Mary Jane really distance itself. I think the way with like Liz Allen or Betty Brant, the lesson of interest is the way to go. Bring in loads. I'd like to see Morbius. I think that would be cool. Have him be a student. Mucks about with vampire bats. And
they've got so much scope to add other characters now. It's not just the range of Spider-Man characters. They've got everything in the MCU. I mean, you could do a crossover with him and Doctor Strange, and it'd be great. I know they've crossed.
They have, yeah. There's one where he had to fight through all his biggest battles, and Strange guided through, which is really that'd be really nice to see.
Really cool. I mean, I'm biased. Doctor Strange is probably my favourite comic book character ever.
Well, I'm big on Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, you could have him almost cross over with the Guardians. Him and Peter Quill.
Yeah.
Sorry, he is Peter Parker. But yeah, Peter Quill.
Especially with Peter's all his really old technology we saw in Civil War. The fact he cobbled together, he should just have an Atari or a Sega, and Peter should come back and go those were new when I was a kid. Let me have a go at that new Sonic game. And Peter being Sonic's 20 years old. Peter just loving it because he's going to have a go at a new games console.
It would almost be more rewarding than Peter Quill meeting Tony Stark.
Which is also going to be really interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Tony Stark will give him some kind of Stark pod.
And it will have every bit of music.
Yeah, every song ever made.
And it'll just jump straight to Fleetwood Mac and Cat Stevens.
Yeah. It's got Jarvis in, and it reads your mind, and it tells you, it works out exactly what piece
comes
of music
up with an awesome mix for him.
Yeah. It's you put it in, whatever mood you're in, it works out what music you like, and just, gives you your perfect song.
So going forward, I think we're talking about an MCU that's gone from strength to strength. We were talking on the beach about where the MCU came from, about how I thought it was kind of weak for them to start with Iron Man. Before his film, I'd say barely a D-list. Well, okay, D-list.
No, I reckon
D-list or C-list.
For Marvel, he was possibly B-list. I mean,
their
A-list characters were basically the
Spider-Man, the X-Men,
and Spider-Man.
And the Avengers.
Well, the Avengers contains a load of...
But it was people knew the Avengers.
So if you discount the Avengers, though...
Yeah.
You've got, then probably the B-list is Iron Man, Hulk, Captain America, maybe Thor. Thor was obscure.
My dad was a huge fan of Thor growing up in the 70s, in fact, 60s. My dad's old. It was when Thor used to turn into... He was a blind dude. He used to tap a cane. And, I don't know if he was blind, but he used to walk on a cane and become Thor. That was when Loki turned into a pigeon. And he threw bread at them, and Loki was like, I've been foiled!
That should be a thing.
I really want to see... I'd love to see Hiddleston voice a pigeon. Petition to Marvel. Make Tom Hiddleston play a pigeon in the fourth Thor.
We're using our considerable YouTube...
following in masses.
All of our currently 10 followers.
Go and tell Kevin Feige we want to see Tom Hiddleston voice a pigeon, and have Chris Hemsworth investigate pigeons, because it would be funny.
Yeah.
And our bird watching friend would love
I think we're done. We're talking about pigeons.
We're talking about Loki pigeons.
Yeah.
Broadening out the Spider-Man franchise that Marvel have attained, it's got scope to be really interesting, especially if they really focus on it. It's going to capture a new demographic. It's possibly the most geared towards the younger MCU audience than we've had in a good while because he's a teenager,
Yeah.
and they don't have that. So it's going to be nice to see kids to go and watch it and take away a bit more from it than they would, because I think maybe Winter Soldier was a bit heavy for a 7-year-old with all of its politics and spying, because it's basically all the president's men with a vibranium shield.
They did get to see Captain America take down 3 big flying aircraft.
They did, but there was also lots of interior politics and Cold War allegories that children aren't going to understand, whereas Spider-Man is just going to be lots of, like, isn't it awful when you get bullied? But wouldn't it be funny if you could just web your bully's mouth shut? Kids are going to love it.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot really to come, especially with that and Thor. Thor looks like it's really going to change a lot. So I think the MCU is maybe going to go through another metamorphosis and
It'd be nice.
Hopefully change convention and not rely on the same old tropes and make us tired of it. Because that is the risk it is running.
Anyway, so that's it for now, I think. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment if you've got something to say.
And follow us on Twitter. We'll leave our Twitter handles in the bio and like at the end.
Yeah, we'll do all that sort of thing.
All the usuals.
Oh, yeah. You know, everybody hears it at the end of every YouTube video. We don't have a Patreon, so we won't ask you to pay us money.
Why would you want to?
God,
at this point?
Look at us. We don't
even know what we're doing.
Anyway.
That's
weird.
Jinx.
Bye.